Hi, it's Vex, and today we want to talk about the most saltiest card, the card that annoys me, Vex, the most in Commander. You'll be surprised at what it is. I didn't want to show it in the thumbnail. You gotta watch for a couple seconds. This is the saltiest card I have in Commander. Vex is a salty card, of course. This card, right here. Surprised you, didn't I? You don't want to know why? Well, I'll tell you why. But first, let's read the card. It's Aetherflux Reservoir. Innocuous artifact from a broken set Kaladesh. 4 generic artifact, not even legendary. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. So you gain a bunch of life the more you cast a spell. Good for Spell Slinger. This is the kicker right here. Pay 50 life. Aetherflux Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. Okay, let's unpack this. Why is this my most annoying card to play against? Salty, right? Why so salty? Let's just talk about it. Why am I so salty? Okay, what this does is, this is played in 2 kinds of decks, right? It's played in Spellslinger decks like Joyra, right there, or I have it in Kaikor deck. So I do play this card, but Spellslinger decks typically play a bunch of spells a turn, ramp up to over 150 life, and just bam, 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 shoot 3 people, kill them all at one time. That's the goal of the Spellslinger decks. And the other types of decks that this is played in is life gain, like Allura, Lisa, I don't know how to say it, Heliod. These are life gain decks here, where you're not going to 150 and killing everybody at the same time. You're going to 60, 70, 80, 100, maybe killing 1 or 2 people, usually 1 person. So in these decks, it's fine. When I see somebody combo off with Aetherflux Reservoir, and zap, pay 50, zap 1 player, pay 50, zap another player, pay 50, zap the last player. That's perfectly fine. These is fine, these commanders. It's these life gain commanders that I have a problem with. Because what's going to happen is you gain enough life, like let's say 70. You play this, and now guess what happens to the game? The game now devolves into trying not to piss the Allura player off, so you don't get shot, because essentially this is instant speed. I wish it says activated as a sorcery, but essentially they have an instant speed cannon. I call it the gun. Instant speed cannon to kill any player at the table at any time at instant speed. So essentially, if you try to destroy Aetherflux Reservoir, what they'll do is kill you in response. Player removal will remove that spell from the stack, and then Aetherflux Reservoir will survive. But the holy kicker is their life gain deck. Aetherflux Reservoir gains you life, so therefore, as they have this, gun over 3 other players' heads, because anytime you go after, the Allura player, let's just put these under here. The life gain player, it's called the Allura player because I see it in Allura the most. Anytime you go after the Allura player, you're like, well, if you go after me, I'm gonna kill you. Simple as that. So essentially, you're at a stalemate with trying to kill this player, and you're gonna see who steps out of bounds first and gets shot first, and it becomes just kind of like a very salty form of just sitting there and staring at this Allura player while they gain more life, and then they'll probably gain enough life to be at 100, so you can kill 2 people at once. So they're essentially guaranteeing second place. But it's not a guarantee, so you can't end the game. So you're just gonna sit there, watch this, essentially gun charge up more and more until you die. Like the first person who blinks, it's like a staring contest. That's what I meant. First person who blinks will get killed. There's other salty cards. For instance, I have some salty cards that I've played against that I feel aren't as salty, and I know this card isn't as salty on EDH Rec because maybe people don't play against it, but it's really salty for me. So let's move these over. Some of the salty cards I played against: Winter Orb, number 2 on EDH Rec. I've never played against Stasis. That's number 1. And I'd rather play against this and not untap my lands than play against this. This just caused unfun gameplay. I mean, of course, this caused unfun gameplay too, but the player who casts Winter Orb, unless it's an Urza player, is having an unfun game as well. The thing is, with Winter Orb, there is no instant speed player removal. Like, if somebody destroys the Winter Orb, they destroy it, right? Like this, the person doesn't have any recourse to use it to kill somebody. So, and if you're not running like artifact destruction in your EDH deck, then you need to reconsider how you build your EDH deck. So Winter Orb is easily killable. You don't get killed in response to killing it, so I don't have a problem with that as much. Expropriate, these part of the top 5 right here. You can take extra turns, steal things. I love stealing my opponent's things, so I can't be sad if they steal my things. And they get extra turns, so it is what it is. You get 1 extra turn through 3 extra things. It is a 9-mana spell. It costs an insane amount. If you get to 9 mana, then congratulations, you play Expropriate, you win the game. I used to hear about this all the time. I've been expropriated. But they only take my one thing, because they spent the entire 9 mana on their turn. Take my one thing, didn't take another turn, then finally use the mana. Maybe hit me my one thing, but it is what it is. It's not over because you got 2 other players helping you. Kill the expropriate player, and plus you play it ends. Either the game ends or the expropriate effect ends. It is what it is. Vorinclex. Now Vorinclex is very annoying. It's also top, I think top 5 or maybe number 4, number 3, number 4. I don't know. It's gonna change. They're doing new voting anyways. Same with Winter Orb type deal, because Vorinclex doubles your mana, the player's mana, and then halves the other player's mana. Same deal. That's why you have cheap removal like Assassin's Trophy, Swords of Plowshares. The thing can get killed, the game moves on. You don't get killed at instant speed. Jin-Gitaxias, I played against this. It's fine, I lose my hand size. I can essentially draw a card and then discard it in a turn. That's fine with me, because usually the player wins really quickly after playing Jin-Gitaxias, or they get destroyed by some other means, so not a big problem. Cyclonic Rift, that's in every one of my blue decks. That's non-budget. I've been rifted many times. I don't care. Put everything in my hand, replay. Even if I'm the person who gets rifted at end of turn, have to put everything in my hand, discard. It is what it is. I've seen people the person who's performed Cyclonic Rift not win as much as you would think, like maybe 50% of the time, but usually it's a defensive rift. It's not that bad. Armageddon right here, my last salty card here, 6 salty cards. I've had my land destroyed. I don't care, because I have some artifact mana sometimes. If I'm green and I have no artifact mana, but I'll ramp back up. Life from Alone, all that good stuff. Armageddon's a one-time, one and done. So these are salty cards that I could live with. But this card just puts a very salty taste in my mouth. But we're wondering what kind of cards, because I know this is not on top of everybody's salt list, but yeah, just leave their comments below. Like what cards make you super salty. Actually, before I end the video, I have some cards there. There's actually counterplay to this Aetherflux Reservoir. Let's move this out of the way. These life gain commanders. The counterplay is few and far between, but there is counterplay, and I have 6 different ways to counter the Aetherflux Reservoir. First one is Deflecting Swat. You could redirect. You choose new targets for spell ability. So what you do is they Aetherflux Reservoir you Deflecting Swat. They pay 50 life, so they're hopefully they're under 50. You Deflecting Swat it right back to that controller and kill them, because it doesn't say target opponent or creature. So that is the best way to do it, is kill them with their own gun. Deflecting Swat that's why this is such a good card. If it wasn't that expensive, it'd be pretty staple-ish card. It is a staple card in my opinion. You can so that's one way to do it, is give it back to them. Another way is Weather the Storm. You just gain life above 50. This is not really played. This is an example of how you would beat this card. Is either you play your own life gain deck, or you would just gain life above 50 to dodge the 50 damage. But you gotta do it at instant speed, so that's the whole thing. Weather the Storm, so that's a way to survive. Another way, so Deflecting Swat, Weather the Storm. Another way to survive is things that don't let you lose the game, like Angel's Grace, right? And it's got Split Second, which is super amazing. You can't lose the game this turn. Your opponents can't win the game. So until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1, reduced to 1. So essentially, they shoot you down to 1. And they can't really counter this because it's Split Second. So ways to prevent yourself from losing the game. That's a way. You could kill them as this is on the stack, as they're trying to kill you on some with probably a spell that you're doing against them on the stack, like a removal spell for this. Urza's Rage right here deals 10 damage. So usually every time I play against this card, the life gain deck is probably at 20 or 10. So if you deal that damage, of course at instant speed, you might be able to kill them before they can kill you. This is not very likely. The life gain is not very likely. Angel's Grace is more likely. Deflect and Swat things is most likely. Another really likely card that could happen is Disallow, some kind of stifle effect where you counter target spell, activate ability, or triggered ability. So you can survive by just countering the triggered ability of the Reservoir. So this is really in the realm of possibility here. And the card that I actually kind of like, but sometimes I cut, sometimes I don't cut, is this card, Croson Grip. I know all the Strixhaven Archive cards help you. Croson Grip, I think, is one of the most straightforward way. And actually, I think this is the best card to do it because it's got split second. So if you target Croson Grip against the Reservoir, it'll just die. They don't have any priority to even do the damage to you. And this is a very playable card in EDH. So I think if you're thinking about cutting Croson Grip for Nature's Claim or whatever, I think Croson Grip does deserve a spot in decks because it has that ability to kill things at instant speed. Unquestionably, they can't tap it for anything. They can't do anything to respond to it because it's got split second. It's basically almost uncounterable except for some more shenanigans and everything. So these are 6 ways around this Aether Flux Reservoir. The most common are these right here. I rarely see Angel's Grace in any decks. Deflect and Swat's in a lot of decks. If the price tag was cheaper, it'd be more decks. Disallows in a lot of decks. It's cool because it counters the spell or ability, so it gives you a lot of flexibility. Flex Spot gives you a lot of flexibility. Croson Grip should be in green decks. The problem is, let's say this is a Beast Within, because you have limited slots. If you Beast Within the Reservoir, the life game player will kill you in response and take that off the stack. So those are the ways there. Anyways, if you enjoy me being salty for a couple minutes here, I thank you very much. Give this video a thumbs up if you've been salty in Commander, and smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new videos when they come out. Again, I have a TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. And as always, have a wonderful day.